I see we've got quite a few other people who are jumping on this call. Aji, good to see you. Damon, we've got you. Dwayne, appreciate you being on the call. I know you guys are out in the field, you're doing things, and so just thank you so much for prioritizing this meeting. I'm sure we're going to get a few other people popping in and out as we get going here. And so how we like to always start these meetings is with wins. If anybody would love to share, if they have a win of the week, we celebrate them large or small, you know, even being here, taking time out of your business to be here, that's a win. And so if anybody has anything on their heart or mind, just unmute and share the good news. No, everybody's having a bad week, apparently.
Well, I've got one. So
okay,
the picture that we're looking at is one of the guys I'm working with. His name's Colby Martin, owner of Hometown Hauling. Started with this guy maybe about a year and a half ago, and he had just gotten laid off and decided that's why he was going to start his own business. Guy moves junk, hauls junk out of people's yards, and does moving and delivery as well. And they just had their biggest month ever, over 50,000. And this guy is living the dream. He was able to buy a house this last year. Their profits are right where they need to be. And we still have a couple of moves up the sleeve to be able to really drive even more revenue growth. But last month was his biggest month ever. And the summer's just starting, which is when it really picks up. So super pumped for Colby.
That's awesome. And Bryce, share with us a little bit. When he first started with us, you know, I believe that he had just gotten laid off, or his, you know, job was no longer a thing. And this was something that he had a trailer and thought, what the hell, you know, let's try to make some money out of this.
Put a post out on Facebook, and that's how it all started. Yeah. I think he had been doing that for maybe 3 months before we got started. And man, he's been killing it. Been absolutely killing it.
Diligent doer. That's awesome.
Hey, I've got one.
Can't wait to see more wins to come.
Nicole, I've got one.
Yes, here. Tim. This is Tim Redmond. For those of you who don't know, we've got Tim Redmond on the call with us here today.
My name is Tim Redmond, and I'm new here. And anyway,
his last name's only, you know, part of the company name. So.
Yeah, but I see a lot of people here. Bob, beautiful Bob. We got beautiful Betka here. We're not seeing your beautiful face. Come on, show up, Betka. You gotta let oh, there we go. There we go. And then Stout Man Tom Stout is here from LA, and
got his Top Gun photo going.
Don't even mess with that guy here. Chris is here. So okay, so I was talking to one of my clients that have been here for a while. He had a pretty good sized business, about $125,000 a month, $1.5 million a year. Wasn't making any profits, and so 2 phases. One, he's now popping about $500,000 a year or more with real close 17-20%. So he's real close to creating $1 million a year business, which I think is a great, you know, in profits, which is a great goal for all of us to go for. And if you're already there, let's go for 2 million or 3 million, just for the fun of it. But anyway, so he's now really got $1 million a year profitable business. And he just told me he took the next step from a business owner to an investor. So he's now got somebody that's running both his service business, which Jonathan Rude helps us run. And then he's got his other core business. He gets most of his money. He's now got somebody running that aspect of the business. And so he's spending most of his time just twiddling his thumbs as number one focus. And number two is he's going to the bank and with wheelbarrows at a time, get the profit. So, I mean, this is the dream for you guys. Now, some of you love working. And so, you know, last year at 60 years of age, I wrote a 25-year plan. These guys, these young people want me out of this place. Okay. And I've said, no, you're stuck with me for at least 25 years. And, you know, if heaven calls my name and I answer it, then boom, I'll give them a break for a few months. But other than that, man, just stay involved. So anybody got $1 million business? million profit a year business yet? Anybody here? Anybody want to have $1 million a year business? Okay, a few people. All right. Nicole, I saw you were the first hand up there. Boom, let's do it. Okay. Anyways, next.
Well, not to, it might be intimidating to try to follow that one up. But again, we celebrate wins, large or small. Does any clients who are currently on the call have a win they'd like to share before we move on?
I got a win.
Yes,
Give
tell
it
us.
to us.
It's for Redmond growth. You guys have a win. Is there a Joshua Woodruff that's in here today? Is he part of the Zoom meeting? Joshua?
A new client
Like
that
not
you
yet.
recommended, Brent?
Yeah, he called me yesterday as a referral from Redmond Growth, and he said he just signed on like on Monday with you guys and was skeptical, as was I. I remember my first day joining,
Yes, I
And,
also remember, Brent.
we had a beautiful conversation, Joshua and I, and I solved a lot of doubt that he had moving forward of the unknowns, and really tried to touch on a lot of what he can expect is going to come. Harley and I recorded a podcast together, and I turned him onto that podcast where I really talk about my story of Redmond growth, and he listened to that and thanked me for that. And so there's a big win for you guys.
Yeah, we
Sweet.
love that.
Love that.
I know that Jonathan Rood, I share office with him. I know he was meeting with a new client this morning, and I have a feeling that was probably the one. So
Happy
we
to help.
absolutely love it. Yes. Okay. Well, Bryce, if you want to go to the next slide here, we'll discuss what we are going to be doing for today. The first thing is we're going to be going over the purple, the power of purple, the purple cow is what we call it. It's something that maybe you guys have already heard us say before. It's something we try to cover pretty early on, but it's always a good thing to refresh. It's always a good thing to be focusing on. Tim is going to be covering that. And then after we discuss the purple cow, Bryce is going to be talking about the one sheet. I just got off the phone with a client, Jessica, with Whole House Cabinetry, and we just gave her one sheet a couple weeks ago. And she was telling me, she's like, Nicole, I don't carry business cards anymore. In fact, I'm not a believer in business cards anymore. Why? When I hand people those one sheets, and I take the time simply just go over, these are the benefits and these are our services, they basically sell themselves. She goes, I had no idea. I thought people just knew, the value that we provide. And I never took the time to actually go over the value. And that one sheet is just a beautiful tool for sales and marketing. And so I'm so glad to hear that. It's really helped with our sales process and our closing ratio. And so Bryce is going to kind of go over how to utilize that one sheet. And then we're going to have a do it now time. Of course, we try to leave everybody with an applicable skill every single week. And then after that, we're going to have a Q&A session. We always try to leave about 20 minutes at least, to have a time to ask questions about what we covered, or even questions that, have just come up throughout your week. It doesn't have to be about our topic. Also, friendly reminder that on Tuesdays, we do have a Q&A call. It's a Zoom call. It's one of the coaches or one of the Redmonds themselves just sitting on Zoom, waiting for a client with a question to pop on there, and you can get feedback from somebody who isn't your coach. I know sometimes we can be annoying, and so you can get a breath of fresh air, get advice from somebody who isn't us. And so it's at 9 a.m. Central Time on Tuesdays, and so if you haven't been able to join that call, just know that that's another resource to tap into. But I'm going to hand things over to Mr. Tim Redmond himself and let us, share the wisdom about the purple cow.
Okay, well, let's rock and roll. We are going to talk about the power of purple. So how many of you, this is your very favorite color, purple? Okay, I see the hands overwhelmingly showing up here. Actually, there's 2 people that cooperated, so that's about 2 more than I thought. But we are going to talk about the power of purple. And so in looking at the first slide with this, we base a lot of this on this book that was written by Seth Godin called The Purple Cow. And I don't think it has a lot of pictures, so it took me a long time to go through it. But it was a great book. He wrote it about 20 years ago. And the whole idea is that he actually talks about this early in his session in his book. He said, hey, I'm on a trip to France and I'm driving out of Paris and my kids are in the back. My wife and I are in the front. We're driving by and we pass a farm. We have these brown and black and white cows there. And we go, oh, look at the cows, look at the cows. And my kids are like, yeah, look at the cows. This is great. This is great. We pass another farm and yeah, look at the cows. We pass about 4 farms and they're all excited. And we pass the 5th farm and we go, oh, kids, look at the cows. And they're like, yeah, we've already seen them. You know, a cow's a cow. And so that's when the idea just exploded in his mind to say, look, what happens if these kids saw a bright, shiny purple cow in the middle of those black and white and brown cows? Said, you know, that may have been 20 years ago, but they'd still be talking about it today. And that's the whole idea, is just a purple cow is what makes you really stand out. It may be an image, it may be an icon, it may be a phrase. For instance, Southwest Airlines, you guys have seen them. And boom, we're hitting the thing there, okay? And so Southwest Airlines, you know, what are they known for? Low fares, you know, friendly skies, low fares. Let's laugh while we're in the air. So we got even the pilots are actually have gone to comedy school, you know, and we've had some. How many of you had some pretty wacky times flying Southwest, where the flight attendant, it was just like, I mean, it's like entertainment hour. And so I remember them even making fun of me. I'm looking for a seat that doesn't have a seat filled next to me. And so they're making fun of me, like, why don't anybody want to sit next to you? And I'm like, I'm laughing, but gosh, man, I'm going to fly them again. Another company you guys know is Federal Express. Federal Express. Well, what are they known for? Federal Express is, you know, if you absolutely positively have to have it delivered overnight, boom, use Federal Express. Now they've had more competition since then, but you know them for that. Then we have another one we saw a sneak preview of, which is Nike, and they're known for what? What's their 3 words they're known for? Anybody?
Just do it.
Just do it. Just do it. Rudy's back from his call here. So, you know, the big question I've got for you is, what is your purple cow? What makes you stand out? What is it that really, really makes you stand out? As a matter of fact, we go to the next slide here and we see what Seth said. One of his most famous quotes is, in a crowded marketplace, fitting in is failing. Not standing out is the same as being invisible. Boring is invisible. Remarkable people and remarkable products get talked about. And that's what we're talking about in here. I mean, just think about it. I remember a client we've had, for one of our first clients we had on board in Redmond growth, when, you know, after Robert joined us, is One Way Plumbing. He's not on the call now, but I remember he drove up with his truck and it says, "We wear belts" on it, you know, the little icon, "We wear belts." I go, why do you have the "We wear belts"? He says, well, plumbers are famous for showing off their butt cracks, you know, and some plumbers are 2-inch, some are 5-inch, some are full disclosure, you know. I mean, so we wear belts to make sure that we kind of have a no butt crack guarantee. And I started laughing. I'm like, this is your purple cow. We got to make this as part of your one sheet here. We have the no butt crack guarantee. If you see our butt crack during our call, during our service call to your place here, boom, labor is free. You know? So he's had people on the phone calling him up laughing, says, "You're the no butt crack plumber, right?" And they're, yeah, we want you. And his phone's just been nonstop busy. So the question I've got for you right now is, what is your purple cow? I want you to be thinking about that. Do you have a one-liner? One dentist, he created a huge tooth and had that out for his sign. And there have been more people just drive into that place as I knew it had to be a dentist's office. And it was so unique. It was just drawing me. He got a lot of clients just for hanging out a huge tooth that you'd be seen from a mile away. And so I want you to be thinking about what is the purple cow that you've established for your business. And let's go to this last little slide here. We've heard of Tom's shoes here. You buy a pair of shoes and you give one away, and it's just an amazing, it's one of the purple cows. It can be a cause-based purple cow. And so here's what Tom said here, and just quoting, he said, giving feels good, but it also is good for the bottom line. Charity is a viable growth strategy for a lot of companies. Our customers get excited to be part of what we're doing. If you ask anybody wearing Tom's how they first heard about us, most won't mention an advertisement or advertisement. They'll say a friend told them our story. Do you have a story that your customers talk about? Do you have a story that is worth mentioning? You know, I'm reading through one of my favorite authors is Donald Miller, and he's wrote a book called Hero with a Mission. And it's like living a life that's worthy of making a movie. You know, it's just all about, he wrote a book, and the playwrights came in there to ask him about, you know, being the star of his own movie, but his life was so boring. He didn't even make the cut for his own movie, you know? And so, you know, he's just determined just to live an exciting life. But I'd like to hear from you right before we go into Bryce, giving us a drill down on this. What is your purple cow, or what are some things you've done to make yourself unique? Can we open up our mics and share a little bit on that? We need the bold to step forward.
I'll step in. Can you hear me?
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
please. Andy, please.
Yeah, and in our case, compared to most other companies, we produce granite countertops and custom kitchen cabinets. But we have a complete digital process where we measure with electronic machines, and our fit tolerances and just our overall quality is just out there ahead of what you really see. And then our customer service, we really try to stay on top of making sure every customer is happy, and just really making sure they appreciate the product we did for them. And we show them our shop when they come through. We show them the manufacturing project or process. We actually let them look at the machines and see exactly how we're achieving what we do. So it's kind of almost like a reality TV show when they're buying from us. It's more of an experience than it is buying your countertop.
Wow. And so you're taking what some people consider a commodity, and you're creating an experience, and people are not just buying a countertop from you, they're buying an experience that they really enjoyed. So
yeah, we have descriptions that people buy people, not products.
Oh my gosh. Okay. You're leading the seminar next time on this, Andy. Okay. I love it. Okay. All right, Bob, what about you? Beautiful Bob. Come on, show up here. What kind of purple cow do you have on what is it you guys do again? I'm just playing Surface Renew. We kind of know what they do, but
well, I don't know if we really make it into a purple cow, but one thing we've done to stand out to show our quality is in apartments, everybody has a 1-year warranty, and we rolled out a 3-year warranty at the end of last year. And it's just kind of, I mean, people somewhat don't even believe it that we're offering a 3-year warranty in our apartment work. But
that makes it, how many of your competitors offer a 3-year warranty? Is that pretty common?
0.
So I would call that the color purple comes to mind. And why not make that a purple cow? Boom. Okay, so Brent, how about you? Besides your purple cow for Redmond growth, is you refer more people to us than we can count. Boom, we actually like you, at least for this week. So what's your purple cow in laying those floors?
I don't know. I haven't identified it, Tim.
Well,
what makes us unique? I know we're always trying to create an experience. I know I tell my team all the time that so many people can install floors, but we can create the experience. Let's go the extra mile. So just like the last gentleman spoke towards is we're trying to create an experience because that's what clients are going to talk about.
Yeah.
But I haven't
Beautiful.
patented it. I don't have my thumb on it, Tim. So I'm searching for the purple cow. I'm trying to figure out what it can be for my
All
company.
right. So we're going to lean into that. So let's
Yeah.
make sure you're as active as you can be during the apply it now session. Any last person here? You got a one-liner or just some image or just something that comes to mind on a purple cow? How many are hoping that by the end of this, if you can create a purple cow that really makes a difference, that'd be helpful to your business? Show of hands. Okay, good number of you. All right, why don't we dive into that, Bryce? You take over from here and let's make this super practical.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, guys. So the purple cow is a pivotal part of what we want to do in getting your branding, your marketing all together and understood. Tim kind of mentioned this, but just to hammer the point home, if you don't know what your purple cow is, if you don't know what sets you apart, literally no one will. None of your customers, none of your employees even will know what it is that separates you guys. And so we have to make sure that we clearly define what that is and why it is. So I have a question, just kind of starting us out here. How many of you are Apple fans or Android? Where do we stand? Are we Apple, Android? Who's where?
I've heard some pretty passionate
Apple.
clients about this, so I need to hear this.
Apple.
Apple.
We primarily use Apple.
Android
Yeah.
all the way.
Thank you. Tom, you are my man.
Android. Definitely Android.
So people get really passionate about Apple versus Android. And it's kind of incredible to me that literally less than 5 years ago, Apple was fined $27 million for the fact that they put out an update that slowed down their phones and trashed people's batteries. But nobody talks about it because Apple has branded themselves really well and they've created lifetime customers by simple things like making Android text green. They could have chosen a dark blue, but they made it green so that you subtly hate Android if you're an Apple user. Has anybody noticed that? So Apple is an incredible example
I
of marketing.
object.
Tell me why you object, Jonathan. What do you mean?
Let's move on.
Okay. Well, all that to say, Apple's a really good example of marketing and branding really well. And one of the things that we want to really highlight is if you're an Apple user, which a lot of you people are, unfortunately for you, if you're an Apple user, you probably still have the boxes that those products came in. Is that right? Anybody still have the box that your iPhone, yeah. Why? Why do you still have that box? Anybody know why?
Hoosier.
So we still keep those boxes because it doesn't seem like something you should throw away. They're really well branded. They're heavier. They made out of a slightly different material. There's no purpose for them. They literally are made to only fit an iPhone, but you're not going to put your phone back in there. People keep them because they're well branded. They feel nice. And that's the kind of effect that we want to create with something that we call a one sheet. It's a really powerful sales and a marketing tool. And I put this on the slide here. We've literally seen people try to sell just empty Apple boxes. Can you believe that? People sell boxes that are empty. They have no value. What are they going to add to your life? Nothing. But maybe someday someone's going to want to sell your one sheets online. So this is what we're talking about. It's a one sheet. These are two recent examples. The pink dumpster, Grand Finish Remodeling is one of my guys, but it clearly sets apart the main differences. Why would someone choose to work with you versus somebody else? And it doesn't have to be just a one-liner or purple cow. That's part of it. You can see down here towards the bottom, pink dumpster, $99 first time dumpster rental. That's actually a no-brainer offer. Up at the top of Grand Finish, ask about our money back guarantee. You want to generate conversation. You want people to not have to think about it.
Well, the pink dumpster, their purple cow is pink all of their
That's true.
dumpsters are pink. That's their Purple Cow. You know, they have the Purple Cow, but they also have the no-brainer offer. You know, the Purple Cow is
Right.
going to make you, every time you see a pink dumpster, you're going to know what company that is. You know, it stands out. And then they have the no-brainer offer. So, you know, the pink is lingering in your mind, and then you've got that no-brainer offer where it's like, why wouldn't I use them?
Yeah. Yeah, Nicole's exactly right. And it sets you apart. People remember that. And so what's important with this is that you know what your value is. You know what separates you from your competitors. What's really a powerful part of the one sheet, and we're going to talk about this. And for me today, my goal is that you can practically use it. A lot of you have been with us long enough that you have a one sheet already. Maybe you're not using it as effectively as you could be. Maybe your team doesn't know how to use it because kind of translating from us to your team hasn't been working. And so we wanted to make this an opportunity to really effectively train your team as well. So the one sheet attacks from multiple angles. It's both a sales and a marketing tool. And what I mean by that is that you use it in the sales opportunity, in the sales process, when you're actually talking to a customer, giving them the estimate and the bid. But it's also this lingering marketing tool that engages your repeat and your referral customer base. Nicole had a great example of this from one of her clients this week, using the one sheet instead of a business card. Why? Because it is something that people don't want to throw away. Remember the Apple product boxes. We want to create that same effect here with the one sheet by printing it on some heavier cardstock paper with a glossy finish. After you've gone through it with somebody, they keep it, and their friend or their family member asks them, hey, who'd you use for this project? Oh, actually, I had this thing that they left behind with me. And so they can pull out and literally hand your sales material to somebody that's asking them. And so they act as almost a sales rep for you, which is awesome. So yeah, engaging your repeat, your referral customer base through means like that. We also beat the top of mind awareness just by having something that sets you apart. You come in with a presentation material. They put that maybe in their junk drawer because they don't want to throw it away. Having that around, you become their go-to. Who do they call whenever they have a need for your services? A lot of people also, a lot of contractors, I won't say people, a lot of contractors have a hard time selling just because you want to do the work and get out. And this is a way of salesmanship that is just presenting the truth. What is it that separates you? It justifies your price. It establishes credibility before you do any work with the client. Because we put social proof on there. There's a lot of things that this attacks. It gives people a better overall experience with you. At the end of the day, if you come up with branding material, and I would think about it this way. If somebody showed up to your house with a one sheet, you were asking them to do something that you don't provide services for. So if you're a plumber and you needed HVAC service, something like that. How much would you be blown away if they came with material that is branded and says, hey, this is what you can expect from us. This is how we set ourselves apart. Nobody else does that. Nobody else does that. So that's the stuff we want to do. And the last point that I'll make here before actually going through and practically walking through how to use a one sheet in sales opportunities and leave them with customers is effectively it works as a sales script. You don't have to try to remember. You should just know offhand. If somebody was to ask you, what separates your company? Why should I work with you versus somebody else? It'd be good to know what are the top, 2 or 3 things that you would say. But if you have it documented and written out, you don't have to think about that. You just show them the thing. Actually, we've got something that tells you exactly why. And for people that believe that, how many of you feel like nobody else can sell as well as you can in your company? You're the top salesman and nobody else could do it as well as you. Okay, you're probably right. In fact, I would say you are right, that you're always going to be the best salesman in your company, but you can make your team a lot better with stuff like this because it effectively acts as a script. You've probably tried multiple times. Hawk, you could testify to this. You've gone over the same stuff with your guys time and time again. Hey, if somebody asks you why we're different, what do you say? Here's 2 things. Just remember these 2 things, Steve. Steve, what are the 2 things? He always forgets it. This is almost like a sales script, but they can hold it in front of the customer because it's not a script. And so you can close more deals. You can allow yourself to not be the bottleneck of your business. And that's what we want to do with this. So any thoughts, any comments so far on what I've said before we get into actually running through an example of using this on a sales call? Any thoughts?
Like in my case, I do sell a lot of our stuff. And it's really easy to sell for me because I know everything inside and out, and there's just a zillion different circumstances that always pop up. Now we have some salespeople that do an extremely good job also, but quite often they get stumbled up when the questions get complicated or it's something outside of the normal, but yet stuff we do all the time. How do you get around keeping that customer's confidence in those situations when you're trying to like script these sales calls? Do you pass it off to somebody that I mean, I always hate getting passed off if I call somewhere to ask questions or whatever.
Yeah. So we can definitely answer that. I do have an answer for you, but is there anybody else that would maybe be able to speak to that? Any other clients that are here? Or coaches?
Good luck.
No.
I'm just
Yeah. So Andy, your question is basically when it gets technical into the nitty-gritty and it's more of the detailed, you don't want to look like you don't know what you're doing and you can't really train that. Is that your question essentially?
Yeah, just how do people handle? I mean, I'm sure other people here have similar businesses that are just quite complex. I mean, our product, super high end product with all detail, whatever, and then customers are asking you questions all the time from every different angle. I always get away with it because I can answer anything or point them in the right direction. And we have some people that sell also, but where they'll get stumbled up is as soon as you hit those things that just aren't part of the everyday normal.
Yeah. So I would say that this isn't just for like the, our remodelers or our carpenters, this is for any industry, I have plumbers all the time who tell me like, oh, well, half the time they go out on the job and they end up having to call me to figure it out. When it's dealing with sales, there's two things I would do. The first thing is I would have a running FAQ list, frequently asked questions. And so if there are certain topics that continue to come up, certain questions that continue to come up, let's build a script around it. If there's certain reasons or objections, or if there's a common question, let's build a FAQ around it, and then let's do some role playing and some training with our team. So that'd be one thing. You're not going to be able to script out every single situation and circumstance that could happen. It's not possible. You have to communicate in confidence, and referring to a higher power is not a negative. We don't want your employees to feel that way. We don't want you to feel that way. If your employees, absolutely, that is a great question. In fact, I know that, my boss, Andy, that he recently had a job that had this exact same thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to call him. I'm going to have him consult on this so that we can make sure that we're able to come up with something completely custom and that's going to fit your needs specifically. Let me go ahead and grab him. Or, hey, let me go back to the office. I'm going to draw you up something beautiful. I'm going to come up with this beautiful estimate with perfect solutions for your specific situation. And then would you be available either tomorrow at 9 a.m. or 3 p.m. so I can jump on the phone with you or come back out here for just like a quick 20-minute follow-up where I can go over that with you. It's all about the way that you communicate it. If you communicate it in a way of like, I don't know, I've never seen that before. Oh, well, that's a little, I'm going to have to guess I don't know what to do here. Then yeah, that's going to kill the confidence with the customer. It's all about the way that you communicate it. And so that would be my two suggestions to solve that problem.
Thank you. That sounds good.
I look like you were about to say something or no?
No, I just applauding. Nicole ate the words right out of my mouth. It's exactly correct. How you frame it is exactly how you're able to make a situation not awkward. I imagined us back when we started. Like getting started in this job, talking with business owners like you guys. It's like, okay, well, we can't be 20, 30-year business owner geniuses like Tim Redmond, but, There are stages in the process, and we can still communicate confidently. And there's documented ways. I mean, we've worked years now at putting together these documented processes where, people can come in and really do a great job very quickly at a job like this, which might be perplexing to some people. But anyways, let's continue. This is good.
Yeah. And I think, Andy, you at the beginning of the call even said something that would answer your question too. People buy people. More than anything, it's how you present it. That's kind of what we're saying in a different way. And I would also say that the one sheet is a piece of the puzzle, right? This isn't the cure-all. And if I'm presenting it that way, sorry, that it's a piece of the puzzle. The technical stuff will come through ongoing training and experience. The longer that you have people, and that comes with building the rest of the business, which is why, as a consulting company, right, we have to work holistically on all parts of it, not just sales, not just leads, not just company culture, not just finances, but all of it together really feeds into it because it creates a place where people stay. The longer they're there, the better they'll get. But yeah, great help from the team there, and good stuff. So want to give you guys an example of actually using this, and I'm going to use a service company's one sheet, but this is almost even more effective for not service companies. If you have a longer term sales process, so remodelers, roofers, pool installation, all of this is applicable. Essentially, you're on the call or you're at the site going through and doing a walkthrough, wanting to put together an estimate and sell this job. And one of the first things that you're asking people, of course, about the details, and then you get to a point where it's just, hey, how much do you know about us? How have you heard about us or looked us up online at all? And then someone will answer, whatever they may say. Yeah, I looked you guys up online, read some of your reviews or something along those lines. Well, that's great. I am so glad that you looked us up, but I want to tell you just a couple of things. And I actually have this document here that really gives you an idea of what you can expect from us, because we work hard to stand out from, the typical expectations people have of contractors. A lot of people have had really bad experiences. And so, this mock example, I'm working for Wood & Plumbing. So I'd say, hey, you will actually hear from us. We will answer the phone and respond to emails in a timely manner. We've heard from so many people all the time that we are even the only ones that answered, or you can never get in touch with us. In fact, one of the other things you can expect is that we offer extended warranties. Our water heaters have a 10-year parts and labor warranty at the cost of just 6 years of coverage. The best warranty labors that are usually offered is 1 year. This is kind of like what Bob was talking about. And then lastly, we always leave things better. The only way that you're going to know that we were there is the smell of lemons that we leave behind, because we'll clean after we finish. Most plumbers won't do that, but we do. And there's some other stuff on here that you can read, but I'm gonna leave this with you, customer, because I want you to have this, and this is what you can kind of expect from us, and then you transition back into the job. And it really is that simple. You want to not just hand this to somebody like a business card or like a bid on a project, but actually give them something that they've seen and looked at, and you give them a little bit of a taste. You don't have to go through all 5 points, but even just 1 or 2, highlighting them, and do so with a pen. I wasn't able to do that because we're on a digital version here, but actually pointing to the thing that you're talking about with a finger or a pen or something, because people need their attention directed. Otherwise, we don't listen and we lose attention, but we use the power of the pen. It's a principle we abide by. And this is a really easy and effective way to use the one sheet, just transition into it. Go ahead, Hawk.
Just a question. At one point, weren't we talking about how we can say things that separate us from everybody else? And I'm not picking on Witten, but we actually respond to the call. Like everybody says that, or we're concerned with the quality. Everybody says that. There's a difference between this and the other thing we were talking about that separates us from everybody else.
You're right. So we talk about these things in tandem. So we've been talking about the Purple Cow, which is, a flashy thing that really separates you. But this is also a specific tool to have your team effectively do it using the one sheet. So it's more of an involved comparison chart.
And you're 100% correct, where we want to focus on tangible things. You know, not every business might have 5 tangible things that we want to highlight, but you want to focus on tangible. Nobody cares that you're family owned. Nobody cares if you're
Right.
local. Nobody cares. Nobody cares if you say you care, because everybody says that they care, or that you're the best. Nobody cares. You got to focus on the tangible things. You know, we use high quality materials, and these are the brands that we use. You know, you proof to the pudding. We have a 10-year warranty. We have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. If you're not satisfied, we will come back out on us and make sure that it is done right. You know, you want to focus on the tangible things. I know, you know, show of hands, I know that with a lot of my clients right now, people are like, oh, now people are tightening their belts. I'm getting a little bit more tire kickers. You know, with inflation and everything, I'm having a little bit of a harder time selling. I've heard this. I know that my other, you know, coworkers have heard this from their clients. The one thing that I keep driving home is, without value, the only thing people worry about is price. And so your purple cow is what gets somebody to be like, oh, you know, it gets you remembered. You know, it keeps the top of mind awareness. But what we cover in the one sheet, that is what sells, because those are the benefits. And it doesn't matter if you're a little bit more expensive than the other guy, because the other guy doesn't offer what you do. And so that's the power of the one sheet, is without really expressing the value that your company provides, the only thing that people are going to see is price.
Yeah. And you make a great point too, Darren, because these are a lot of the common things, but the Purple Cow for Witten Plumbing is this lemon scented stuff that they use. They literally make the bathroom, whatever they're working on, smell like lemons. Yeah. So that's something that no one else does. It's cleaning after. So this reminds their guys, hey, we leave things better. How specifically? We do this lemon scent thing. And Ryan has literally made it a point where he paid the first guy on his team that got a review that specifically mentioned that it smelled like lemons, got $100 bonus just for that. And so it's incorporated. These parts are here, but it's for your team to really use this document as almost like a launch pad, if you will, of like reminders, you know, that they don't have to think of, but they're actually seeing this while they're talking to a customer. And that's the power and utility of it.
And not to pile on, but just a brief point, Darren, nobody else uses a document like this in their sales process. So that in itself is a purple cow, where I've heard responses from other guys that I've worked with say, yeah, the customer just literally said wow with me whenever I brought this out and talked it through with them. So this in itself helps you stand out.
Yeah. So we want to get into actually doing this morning, is starting to prepare this document, or at least effectively using it. We have to use the tools at our disposal. You have to use the stuff that we're talking about. And so if you haven't done it yet, if you don't have a one sheet yet, ask us for the template. Either, you know, message in the chat, or text your coach, or send an email. Ask us for the template to get started, and we want to put this document together for your company. And start by writing out the top reasons, what you always tell your team. Why would someone want to choose to work with us versus somebody else? If all prices were the same, why are they choosing to work with us? If you do already have a one sheet that we've put together for you, print it out today. Talk to your local print shop, get them on order so that you actually have them. That's the first step. You can't use it if you don't have it. And do it on a heavier cardstock paper with glossy finish. And then the third thing is actually schedule a role-playing training session with your team. You will be able to watch this video back if you want to get a refresher on just the simple way. And I just did one example, but you know, we can give you plenty of examples of how to transition easily into using the one sheet on the sales appointment. But schedule this role-playing session because your team needs to actually feel comfortable using it, or they never will. You can give them all sorts of tools, but if they've never done it before, having to do it in front of a customer, they're going to feel super uncomfortable. And this is just a good thing in general of having a sales training with your team. And then the last thing, guys, is just to use it. Take it with you. leave it with the customer, but not until you've shown them. Don't give them a naked one sheet where you haven't said a thing about it. You just say, hey, here's this. That's a terrible way to use this. Don't do that. So actually take it with you, use it with the customer. And then something that I've known a lot of people do, we want to do this for sure. In addition, this cannot be the only way you use the one sheet, but attach it to the emails that you send. Super easy way to establish credibility with the people, the stuff you're already sending communication that just sets you apart and has your branding well set up. So we got a couple of things to actively do today about this in getting the one sheet put together, and even just thinking about putting this stuff on paper. What is your purple cow? What is your top reasons that someone would work with you versus somebody else that your team needs to know, that you need to know so that anybody else could ever know it? And then scheduling the role-playing training session if you already have this stuff. So I'll step off of my my soapbox here, guys, but want to go ahead and, as always, open up the bit of our time here for specific questions. If you want to talk about what your purple cow can be, we can do that. Or if you have questions related to or not related to what we've talked about today for the content, we want to do that now. Open the field. So fire away when you're ready.
I just had one comment on the one sheet. It was a great idea that Jonathan had that's been really effective on ours. Is he made a little QR code for us that pulled up the information that we wanted pulled up off the internet. For us, it was a Google search. And of course, we completely dominated the Google searches while we put it on there. But that's something to think about on those one sheets too. That's been very effective for us.
Yeah, definitely.
Love that. Yep. We always tell people, you know, when it comes to your website, when it comes to your sales process, we want to keep people focused. The only reason why we'd want them to, you know, go to a different site is to read reviews. Reviews are so powerful, and people are lazy. And so you have to make it easy, whether it's a QR code or sending them a link to it, having them click on it while you're with them. You know, same thing with the one sheet. If you guys hand your one sheet to somebody, I promise you, they will never read it. You have to go over it with them. You know, people are lazy. And so just really, you know, make sure to go a little bit of that extra mile, because that's really where it's going to be super effective. Any other questions about what we covered today, or just questions in general? You can type them in the chat, unmute, whatever works for you.
No, I like that idea of a QR code to be included in the one sheet. Bryce, if you can help me out and work that out,
yeah, man,
that'd be great, because nowadays everybody has a phone in their hand, and sometimes they just prefer to see everything on their cell phone. So
oh yeah,
I think that'd be a good idea.
Yeah,
Thanks
I gotcha.
for the idea.
Any other questions, concerns, grievances? Going well.
I wasn't able to reach you guys out at the beginning for some reasons, but I wanted to let you guys know. I spoke to Bryce about it the other day, and we've hit our sales within the first 6 months of this year of what we did last year completely. So
yeah, you did.
It's been a great 6 months this year, and I guess we're going to be doubling our sales this year, hopefully more. So
I guess we're gonna double our sales. No big deal.
Woo!
It's a good win.
That is awesome.
Nice.
It's awesome, Felipe.
Yes. Anybody else?
Questions, thoughts?
I don't know. I'm thinking about my trucks, my vans.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, what if they're white with some lettering on it, but what if they were written on with different sayings, like literally current event stuff that's going on, that's not politically right, politically left, but something that it's always changing. My guys could write it in a thing, but there's still aquatic pools there, but just have all different stuff on it that's topical. And I don't know if that's going to look cheesy, or it could be something very unique.
So one of our clients actually has done that. Spot On Plumbing, their plumbing company, actually here local to Tulsa, and they had hashtag Free Britney on their vans when Britney Spears was going through trying to get her conservatorship taken away. And so they had that, and they got a lot of comments on it. When it comes to vans, what we tend to recommend is you just really want to stand out. One of the, people are flying past you on the highway, and so the more that somebody has to think, again, people don't. So the simpler that things can be, the better. Rogers Plumbing is a client of ours who I think has done really the best job with his vehicles. I don't know, Bryce, if you could find one of his and pull it up, but I know that he has some professional shots of it in his Dropbox. But he has this big box truck, and it's royal blue, and it's got this big old plumber on it. It's like a cartoon, and his logo is all bright. I mean, you would stop to look at this vehicle, but it's not distracting from what he actually does. It shows that he is a plumber. You've got his phone number big, and so it stands out without necessarily, distracting from what we're trying to get people to do, which is see what it is that he does and give him a call. And we can design vehicle wraps for you. So if you meet with your coach, you guys can definitely start moving in that direction. Any other questions?
I tried my best, Nicole. I couldn't get it fast enough.
That's all right. I'll
Well,
forgive
going
you
back
this time.
to QR codes too. I got a buddy, he's a builder in town. He's got a big box truck on the side of his, Main Street or whatever in the town that he works at. And I mean, he's got a big QR code on the back door. So when people walk by, they pull it up and get all his information and save it too. So that's an idea.
Definitely. So this is Rogers Plumbing truck. I mean, that puppy stands out. If you're driving by that, you're gonna see that. And one thing you'll notice, the phone number is huge. The phone number should be one of the biggest things on if you have a billboard, which I wouldn't recommend. If it's on your vehicle wrap, your phone number needs to be the most prominent, because people have like 0.2 seconds, to see that. And so something like this is a very effective, easy Purple Cow, that's going to be very memorable. And it really shows that you're professional. You're not just a handyman. You're not just a chuck in a truck. It really, really goes towards that white glove service that we'd love to kind of build. Any other questions as we get ready to wrap up here today? We've got a couple minutes left. Going once, going twice. All right. Okay, so if you have a question that comes up, of course, many ways to get answers very quickly, whether it's booking a laser coaching call. If your coach isn't available, you have access to the other coaches. And so you can get answers quickly. So laser coaching call. We're also not a lawyer. We don't bill per hour per minute. Reach out to your coach. If you have a question, we're going to get back to you quickly. And then there is that question and answers call on Tuesdays, 9 a.m. Central Time. We're just sitting on Zoom waiting for you. And so if you want to get additional feedback, if you have a question that comes up, these are a lot of resources that you can tap into. We never want you going longer than, ideally 24 hours without getting your questions answered. And so just don't hesitate to tap into the resources that we are providing. We also have a list of these group coaching calls. This one's recorded. They're all recorded. So as soon as we've got it up at YouTube, you're going to be able to reference back to it. And Rudy, I'm going to count on you like I always do here, sir. We're going to close things out as we always do. Team, if we could unmute our mics. I know you're sick of us by now, but you're going to get even more sick of us because we're going to do it every single week. And so, Rudy, if you will lead us out of here.
For some of the new faces and personal clients of mine who are wondering why they're calling me Rudy, that's what they do. I still prefer Jonathan though, but I'm okay with Rudy. All right. Growth. That was meant to be humorous, by the way. I wasn't actually upset. Growth on 3. 1, 2, 3. Growth.
All right, guys. Have a great week.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good week.